the profile it says GTI Asset Management, but yes, I hope that that is still the right company, right? Yeah, Valenti, right? Okay. Yeah, Valenti Asset Management, right? Apologies for that, but I see that maybe we should just go back and with the HR people to check that LinkedIn profile. That's still as GTI. So you might still be recruited, you know this. Okay, welcome. Let's also welcome Bode Oje Lee. I hope I didn't get it wrong. If I did, apologies. Bode is with, it's also Group Managing Director for Sky Capital. Welcome, sir. Obianuju Moma, Head of Human Capital and Admin, Capital Bangkok. What do I mean? Good. Welcome. Welcome, ma'am. Oluseye Omolafe, Director of Resources, United Capital. Welcome. Okay, last but not least, Femi Adenola, the MD for Aiko Capital. Ademola. Okay, Femi, I also don't know, when I read your profile, it says, it's supposed to say doctor. Is that the right way? I don't want to get it wrong. You know, in academic institutions, we respect these titles. So people are used to calling you Femi, and they say you're part of the family, but now they must, must make sure that the title is right. Welcome. All right. So this is the panel that we have, a full panel indeed. And as I said, today the focus, and this evening the focus is on the future of human resources in digital age in the capital investment sector. This is where we are. And I guess it's a sector that's not accessible to many people. And today maybe we will learn a little bit about it so that it can become more accessible. But for those of you who are looking to learn and to know more about the sector, here's an opportunity. I also noticed very much we've got the high-ranking officials in this sector from these different companies. My wish and my sense is that they will also be able to give us the insight into the HR of their businesses. Because sometimes when we talk about MDs and CEOs, there's an assumption that they are far off from the HR practices. So let's hope today we can be able to get that insight into the sector with the human capital. My approach is going to be very simple. If you can try and have the conversations, I hope my mic, okay, there's one mic over there, and the other one decided not to function in the morning. So we'll have to move this one around. I'm going to ask you first to introduce yourself and your companies so that for those who are online also get a sense of what you do and what your company does. In case this is a marketing exercise, Regenesys is not the only one that gets the green points or the brownie points. So we'll do that first, and then I'll come back and ask you about what you think of the future of HR in the digital age in your particular sector. And we can go into the details of it. Some aspects of it are probably more interesting for you and some maybe not. But for HR people and for those who are interested in the HR space, they want to know the whole cycle. Whether, is this sector really using AI at the entry point, recruitment and selection of people, just talent acquisitions. To what extent are we measuring people's performance using tools these days? Your employees are probably not just local, you're probably employing across the world. What does it look like? What does HR look like when we have people across the world working for you, different cultures, and that these tools all of a sudden they're not taking the human element away to some extent? these are some of the interesting things I'd love to hear about how the sector is doing. And maybe you can also demystify the notion that the sector is very strict and rigid and formatted. Everything, there's no, like, you guys don't go dancing. You just, you make money on the side. So hopefully we can see the relaxed side of this business too. All right, here's the mic. Maybe we should start on, then you can pass the mic, that way it will be easier. Over to you. Just the brief intro and what your company does and what you do.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Obianu Jeji. I'm the head of human capital and admin for Capital Bangkok PLC. Capital Bangkok PLC is one of the foremost financial and professional service provider in Nigeria. We have been in existence this year, makes it 36 years. So that means we know what we are doing. It remains sustainable in a country and an economy like Nigeria.
Thank you very much. 36 years. We as a school, we are only 25 years old. So, yeah, then we respect you.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Olusha Yakomola, Director of Resources, United Capital PLC. Resources covers basically human resources and corporate services. That's what strategic resources. Okay. United Capital is Nigeria. Again, in terms of aging, this year we celebrate 60 years just to be part of the world concept. 60 years ago. Okay, so it's a group of financial service providers from equities to asset management, trustee services, wealth management. We will also be launching a microfinance bank very soon. All right, so briefly, that's actually.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Sam Chidoka. I work for Kairos Capital. Kairos Capital is also an investment banking business licensed by the SEC. She said Capital Bangkok is 36. So they're 30 years older than us. We're only 6 years. They said United Capital is 60. Just times 10. You are close. But we started in 2018. We're still here. Hopefully, one day we'll be able to say we're here for 36 years.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you will be the one who will be telling us that you employ Gen Zs and millennials only there. You don't have anyone else. None of these generations are there except the Gen Z. And maybe you make it, yeah, we'll hopefully hear about that.
Thank you very much. I work for I call myself Chief Human Resources Officer because I wanted to just correct that notion that the CEOs about at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to ensure that everybody works together, all work together in the organization. So yeah, that's what we have. And I go capital. Well, I think since it's age, I used to brag around that. So that's frustrating too. Our capital is just 25 years, but I mean, it was given back by a 60-year-old man. Now I'm going to be 61 this year. That's our insurance itself.
Okay. So you're mixing up both.
I mean, just like United Capital was buried about 16 years ago from a 60-year-old man. Ours too was buried 25 years ago by a 60-year-old insurance company. And we're a financial services because we are involved into fund management. Now we're going into financial advice and also lending business as well. So, I mean, yeah, we're neighbors too, so that we just came to members. So I had to work to this place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Famous Aledari. I'm the MD CEO of Valente Asset Management Limited. It's a new asset management firm that we just started. Up until now, I was the MD of GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited. I've been in the market for about 25 years in the capital market and investment management industry. So a few of us came together to float Valente Asset Management. It's a new innovative asset management firm based on some unique offerings and value propositions we are bringing to the market. So it's a case of an old wine in the first. So thank you very much. That was good.
Okay. It sounds like it's just only a few individuals. No? The way you placed it, like there's just a few of us there who were bespoke. We're not there. The 60-year-old that's like huge, right? Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brode Ojedi. I'm the Group MD for Sky Capital. Sky Capital is the financial services holding company of a much bigger group called CFAX. CFAX Group is into maritime and aviation logistics. We're also into hospitality. So if you've ever interacted with the Marriott hotels in Ikeja GRA, then you have experienced a part of CFAX. For Sky Capital, we are an investment banking firm. And under our portfolio, we have a finance company, an asset management company, an insurance broking firm. And we also have, I call it 2.5 commercial banks outside Nigeria, operating out of Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Gambia. I'll leave it for that. I will not talk about age. Because I don't want my next door neighbor to feel intimidated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the introduction. So how is the sector doing? Anyone can take this one. Just to give us a context. Because when you talk about human resources, and we say people are the center of all these organizations, all these businesses, right? But these businesses are operating within a particular context. So what is the sector like in Nigeria right now? How are you doing? Are you all healthy in terms of whatever the returns is, the economy or the politics? What is your context right now that you're recruiting all these people to join you and to come in and be part of capital investments? So if anyone can help you, just sketch the picture, especially for people online to understand, because you guys are not in transformative. You're not moving goods from one place to the other. You're taking the money of those who are making moving and actually making it bigger and growing it further. So give us a sense of what you guys are doing or what the context is.
So I would say, if you look at the panel, the guys in suits are doing very well.
Okay.
So see some of us, we can't afford the suits. The suit and tie, right? Well, so I think that the sector has seen some changes. Before, many of the firms, funny enough, I used to work in United Capital as well. And sometimes we used to be called big global markets. And back then, I've been in a few other institutions. Back in the early 2000s, you had these institutions that were into investment banking, asset management as standalone firms. But over time, we found out that the investment banking firms provided service to high net worth individuals and to corporates. And there was no retail part of the business. The asset management business, stockbroking business, we're doing more retail. So what you have seen is a situation where many people have come together and put all those together in one old core. And so that you are able to be like a one-stop shop. When people come in, they can get retail services, corporate services, high net worth individuals, big company, blue chip companies, small and medium scale industries can offer those services across board, right? And that's what we have sort of seen in the market recently. However, the sector is not immune from all that happens in all that's happening in our economy. It's doing business right now in Nigeria can be a bit difficult based on just the economic realities, right? And we're not immune from it. However, the beauty of what we do is that when there is trouble in the economy, we make money. When there is excess money in the economy, we make money. So I'll give you an example. There's some sort of trouble in the banking sector. So the CBN wakes up and says, if you own an international bank, you have to have 500 billion in paid up. Not shareholders fund. They redefine what CBN used to call what was allowed by CPM. I say it's just your share capital and your share premium. And you look around, no bank has it. All the banks have to go to the market. And because all the banks have to go to the market, big boys like United Capital are on all the transactions, take the banks to the market. So there's trouble, they're making money. Count me out. But all right. Then there are times when when there's liquidity in the market, people are looking to invest. Because you can also offer asset management service, right? Those people will come and place money as deposits, and you sort of make money. So it's a unique industry. Not immune from the vagaries of the economy, but I'd say that there are opportunities. There's still opportunities. And for you to continue to offer those services to your clients, you need humans. You need people. You need to employ the right people. You need to employ people that are numeric. You need to employ the people that can work. It's an industry that requires people to work pretty hard and pretty long. So you need to employ resilient people. You need to employ people who can think on their feet. Mostly the best of the best. The challenge is that you're trying to recruit the best of the best. We are not making enough money to pay them. Always the challenge. But give and take. If I had the opportunity to do it again, I would still be an investment bank.
Okay, sounds good. All right, please, Femi.
Thank you very much. I mean, let me start by correcting the notion about the fact that we work too much in investment banking. We partly hard to. You know what I'm saying? And that's reality. I mean, Sam has said a lot of things about what happens in the market. And one of the reasons why we're salient is because the business we do, they cut across every lifestyle stage. In the first instance, we help to create wealth. We help to manage wealth. We help to preserve wealth. And also even help to transfer wealth to the next generation and also like that. So because of that, there's always something to do. And we are a functional sector. When I say functional, I mean that we work across sectors, right? As we help the banks, we help the manufacturing firms as well. We help the oil and gas. Like Sam said, when there's trouble, there's M&A opportunity. Right? Even when there's good things, somebody has too much money, is looking for something to buy. As well. So we're like, look at finance. Where you remember the part of finance industry. And if you see the bank turning out good money, it means that we're not doing too badly. I mean, yes, we might not make that kind of spread like the banks, but we're getting there, right? Right now, I'll be a little philosophical too when it comes to about talent and stuff like that. The way the talent issue is in our industry is just about the way the human being has evolved as well. When we started till together, right? For feeding and then on for feeding to later we put it a little bit more to tilling the ground too for resources and also hunting for goods. Then we industrialize. And then later on we go into services. Now we're going into products. Same thing happened to this industry as well. There's changes from the hard number crunching. We're able to get lucky to move into Excel. Now we are going into using AI now. Now, in fact, and that's challenge. Like he said now, you now want one person that can do 5-man job, do work, think of your feet, get it, so think about structure. But can we afford them? Maybe no. And it has also an implication as well. I really will deep down into that.
Okay, yes. So if you bring it to, okay, you maybe just, please, if you take it there, and maybe demystify or take away the elephant in the room. Because a lot of people, I think, when we have you guys here and you create wealth, you manage it, you sustain it. And they know that there was a currency story in the recent past. And people think, well, this is it. We lose our money like this. When the currency drops and changes like this, these guys have not been able to protect the money. So just on a high level, how do you take away that fear? What do you guys do to make sure that it doesn't become zero when it was?
Thank you very much. In the industry that I work to, it's called hedging. We undertake hedging solutions for our clients. We are all aware of what we were in Naira in the last 1.5 years. But then, that kind of decision, be that as it may, part of what I wanted to say also earlier in contribution to what the question was the fact that being a service driven industry. Like I already said, we can go about with physical markets, very essential in those services, metamorphosis, so to say, over the years, from what we used to do manually, including HR, and so on and so forth, we have seen it now being driven by AI, the advent of the automated tracking system for recruitment and all the rest. And so, so it is a sector that has evolved. It's a very resilient sector, like I said. It's a very resilient sector. But over the years, you see the sector evolving, into the kind of sophistication that we have these days. Even though I may also admit the fact that it's not only limited to our industry, but generally there is insufficient, what I call digital skill force, globally.
Right.
Digital skill force, people who are very, very sound in AI, generative AI, data analytics, cybersecurity, and all the rest. And like my guy said earlier, even when you find them, it's a bit on the high side.
Yeah.
The bit that as it may, we tend to do what we call upskilling.
Yes.
So if you can't get them, look at some of your staff members, look inwards. Who are those that have cognitive capabilities? And then you begin to train them digitally and send them for online courses, digital courses, so that you can upskill your workforce. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to ask from you, if I may, Obianuju, because you also have a direct role in terms of human capital supply, right? So I already have a sense that the sector is not necessarily short of skills, but it may be that it's not so easy to get the high-end skills that they're looking for. What is, therefore, your view of this AI, the transition from the traditional way of doing things in the sector, and the transition from traditional human resources now to sort of AI-driven human resources in the sector? How has this transformation taken place? Has it been effective for the sector? Has it been too slow? Because this sector, I would imagine, cannot wait. When they need the skills, they need them now. What is your view of the transition in Nigeria in terms of people working in the sector?
Thank you very much. Like your topic says, the future of HR.
Right.
But I'll say that the future is now. The future has already been in existence. And when you take it back to post-COVID, rather pre-COVID, before COVID came up, you could see HR operating more traditionally. Right? People were not really using digital. Even if they were using it, wasn't so popular. And people had this concept that you must be in the office physically to be able to carry out any transaction or do anything. And then COVID came. Some companies were ready and some were not. And now bringing it to your question in terms of HR, yeah, it has evolved and it's still evolving in terms of digital. We have AI, we have blockchain technology, we have the big data, and the rest is still evolving. And of course, why it's still evolving is that this industry on its own has its own challenges. In terms of when you look at technological, do we have the infrastructure in place? When you even look at the power supply, when you look at the power supply, when you look at the internet service providers, because to even run this, you need all those things. When you look at the legacy HR system within the company, can it integrate the modern, HR digital softwares and the rest? Right. Then you also look at, the economic aspect in terms of cost. When you said HR being different, not working closely, I disagree. In fact, I call my GM head of HR while I'm on his deputy, right? Because HR is the blood of an organization. I don't care what anybody says. We are the ones that drive because it's people. And people is the most important resource of an organization, and that's where HR comes into play. So, look at cost. Is the company ready to invest that amount of money, in the HR software? Is it ready? So, HR, the head of HR, or whoever is driving it, has to be able to convince leadership that put the money here, because when you put the money, you are going to get return on investment in terms of this. So there are a couple of challenges. You also look at in terms of organizational change management. Are people ready to accept whatever changes or initiative in terms of technology? Because it's still people that are going to make use of it. It's people that will put in the data, the quality data. Do they have the skill set? Is there a skill gap? These are challenges that is within, and I will not just say within capital investment industry, but since that's what we are talking about, I think it borders across even other industries. So we have to provide solutions.
The skills that you guys are looking for, I mean, maybe give us a sense of the skill sets that are critical for the sector, and how big is that? Like maybe Nigeria, and I know some of you might be procuring outside. But how big is this pool, and what are the kind of skill sets? Because some people, I think, you only work with external scientists.
No.
Yeah. So how big
okay, in every company, there are different units. You have IT, you have compliance, you have internal control, you have the business units, you have HR, you have brand and communication.
Right.
So all these units requires different skill sets to drive them. But with what is happening now, the Japa syndrome,
right.
I want to say that I don't want to say negatively impacted, because fine, you can say you can get people that work remotely, but how many companies have gone remote fully? So you can now see the kind of, I don't want to call it scarcity for skill for that particular. Okay, you have maybe a head that has relocated maybe to Canada or to US and has this number of years, have the historical information of the company, have what it takes to run that unit and even to take the company to the next level, and the person resigns. And you're trying to get someone to fit that position, certain qualifications, certain skills. And when you have interviews, you have rounds and rounds and rounds of interviews, and the people you see, they are demanding like ×3 of what the person that left was earning. And then people that you even see that don't really have that skill set of that years of experience, the salaries that they are asking for, I even say that, now wow. I know the MDs can, so that's why you see certain key roles or strategic roles. Sometimes you see to fill them, it takes a while. And this is where succession planning comes in, where you don't even have to go outside to start looking for, but you have already trained people within the system. You've upskilled them, taking them for certain leadership trainings, soft skill trainings, and when the opportunity comes, they just move into that role. So
I appreciate it. Say if you may also just, I mean, when you talk about all these divisions within the company, tells me that of course this is not two-man's shop, right? There's quite a number of people. Those are huge organizations. That means HR needs to be as effective as it can be, right? And a lot of people, of course, pre-COVID were saying this is one of the things. HR is one of those that we might just say goodbye. We can do this ourselves, right? They can't say that now with AI. So for me, the question is exactly: is HR? Do you believe HR in this sector has really stepped up in terms of use of technology and AI? Has it given you the returns? Because you guys have to look at your return on investment, right? So a critical look at HR and HR functions and processes in the sector. Has it given you the return on investment? And I know she's waiting for you to say yes, but maybe you can give your own independent response.
All right, thank you. Okay, we can't talk about HR in expression of the sector itself, because you can't get ahead of yourself. Even if you think you have mental knowledge of what you want to do, you have to work within the reality of what that sector offers. So I'm just about 3 years plus in the sector. My background, I was in telco space. And interestingly, I got a lot of shocks. It's a very small sector, relatively, but very complex. Very complex. you will be making a lot of wrong assumptions because you have to be interested in the business because you can even have value as HR, right? I could remember my first year. I got in and I realized that we needed to do graduate training program. And of course, model graduate training programs, we developed the program, we designed it, and we got sharp guys, 2-1, numeric courses, and all of that. 6-month program, we later extended to 9 months. And we were supposed, because again, they're not department, they have business. So we have a trusting business, we have an equity business, we have an asset management business, we have a subset of wealth management, we have core investment banking, right? And then we have this consumer finance business. On their own, they are different businesses, even though you can put them under investment banking, financial services, they are unique businesses. Now, by the time we ran that program, we designed it. The trainees themselves were supposed to go do rotations, 12 weeks rotation for each of the businesses. And then we realized that when they get to some business, they struggle. And by the time I was questioning the MDs of this thing, what was the issue? The fault was from the design, because I needed to sit down to understand what was the value chain. We have business development people, the business development people who source funds. We have portfolio managers who manage funds. We have research who do what we call not just research into what has happened, be able to predict adequately to advise the businesses. And then you have what we call a shared service function that support the entire. If you still look at that chain, and I went back to design, what was design of the graduate trainees we're looking for? We're looking for numeric people. Our trustees has a lot of liquid implications. We have a lot of business development. So people who were basically economics, numeric, they struggle with business development. So we realized that we didn't even factor lawyers when we were doing that, whatever. So the fault is from the design as HR, not the business. So you can't have value until you know it may be small, but very complex. So you can't just come and say you can lose something, hey, I want to deploy it. You have to know exactly where the business is going. And then because there's a lot of legacy issues. Because again, in the sector, the asset is the people. In my former place, when we are saying our trying to deploy the asset, my finance guy will say, I have my books, I know what the assets are. Right. But in this sector, there is actually no asset in people, which means you have to be very, very intentional about what you are investing. You have to come up with the entire strategy, what you are buying, what you are borrowing, what you are building. Because you may not be able to buy everything. You may not be able to borrow everything. So you have to be able to come up with strategy. So in terms of investment, we need to appreciate where we are first. Or it is now we are at the phase where we are even coming up with a business case for that investment. We can't say we want to jump into the AI when your systems cannot even predict basics of what is going on. So if there's an area, growth opportunity right now is this area. This AI, they are good in terms of jargons, but in terms of practicality, the gaps are there. And that is when we should be making the investment. I can't talk about return on investment now because we are not going to make it.
Right. So, okay, maybe let me first put it right out there further on. What has caught your eye? Because I now hear that we have to get the basics right. The fundamentals must work before we jump into AI, because those processes have to be made to be efficient. However, we must get the basics right. What for you has caught your eye? And I'm talking from an HR perspective. In this AI space, that says, well, something is working here. Which tools and how are they working in this sector? I've had tools from recruitment to performance management. What is it that caught your eye, that excites you in the sector, that says, this is beautiful for the sector?
Thank you very much. From the comments that have been made, I think looking at this issue of HR and technology, you're looking at a complex mix. And I say complex mix because within the sector today, we're faced with both internal challenges, i.e., the country in itself, and adopting technology as a way of life. And then you now have the hydra-headed problem of skills migration out of the country. An example, last year, the story was sort of a bank that had about 14 people in a particular team, which is a product that is highly technology driven. And within 3 days, of a particular week, 11 out of the 14 resigned or relocated. And then they put the entire bank and its operations in disarray. So the need for AI in the business today is germinal, very pertinent. And because how do you now deal with the gap created by the 11 people if you don't have technology to support you? And it has to be a technology that can be adapted to a reduced number of hands, as against having the 14 people on ground. I'm using the same example. So AI is there, but then faced with a lot of other challenges which we need to deal with. But my thought, one is each organization needs to first define where it's headed and the kind of technology you require to support that. And then that now gives HR the room to begin to define its resource requirements in terms of skills, technological skills and all of that, and there are other resources that are required to drive that overall organizational goals and objectives.
Right. Yeah. So all right, please take on.
I want to add to that.
Right.
I want to speak about softwares in the industry and collaborative tools. Even though we have a lot of softwares, the applicant tracking software, the onboarding software, performance evaluation software, and so on and so forth, talent management, learning and development, and so on and so forth. It's, for the staff members, part of what we have implemented that have really caught their attention are some of the collaboration tools we are using presently. Since the advent of COVID-19, we're using a lot of instant messaging tools, messaging tools and project management tools. We've been using Zoom, Skype, and so on and so forth from time to time.
Right.
And part of what it has done for my staff members, which I've noted, is the fact that it has really excited them. It has really elicited satisfaction from them, and in a way, we have also been able to use it for what we call talent management. Because with digital online training now, we are able to provide certain facilities to our staff members who work remotely. We are also able to engage on digital training programs, which has helped us in a lot of, it has helped us to get traction to the same. We've also been able to have what we call continuous engagement with staff members, even when they are out of the field. We need to do this. Otherwise, we don't want what should be an advantage to become a disadvantage in an organization. By the time staff members are not coming to the office regularly, if care is not taken, they may begin, to be severe from the company's culture and whatever. So that continuous engagement is very necessary. And some of these collaborative tools have helped a lot, in ensuring that we engage them from time to time to have feedback from them. And also we have been able to build, critical touch points to virtually every phase of human resource management, so that there are some things that staff members want to do on their own. They want to be able to see their benefits. For example, the login, thank God for blockchain technology, the property of immutability and transparency. They're able to log in and see certain details about themselves. They're able to update it. And as well, it's also very secure, because you might say, okay, it's what I transparent like this, what of the security and all the rest. But thank God for blockchain technology. But the two key properties of blockchain technology is immutability and transparency. But then it comes to what we mentioned earlier on. You have the industry needs more people with cognitive capabilities, with people who are very skilled in AI, generative AI, and cybersecurity.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. I think you planned down quite a number of them across the journey of an employee, from recruitment right up to performance. But let's go back to that recruitment, Femi, if you may. Can you trust these tools? You were sitting there and with your HR people and saying, well, let's do this recruitment. And they tell you that, oh, they've got 50 CVs and they just send them through this AI tool. Here's your best candidate. Or how far does it go, and what are the measures that you guys take to ensure that this tool works for you? And even if if this AI tool is the best that you have in the market, how certain are you that it actually gives you the best hit? And what do you do to mitigate that?
Thank you very much. I was going to say something about the one of the usual challenges that we face in this time. I think about the one I talk about it about the cost, and so I group them into two: ability, and then most importantly, willingness. Right? Ability is about the cost. It's about the infrastructure not available. We're not talking about it then, all technology, availability, and stuff. The other critical part about it is willingness. You know, even some of us, because of the way we are trained, this technology, we don't trust them totally. So because of that, exactly. So we struggle to totally trust those. I think that's what I'm coming to.
Right.
Yes, when I want to recruit, I mean, well, you want to do credit training, everybody's trying to do that now. Because one of the challenges we have is that the skill set we have now, we need more than what we get, right? When we complain about the cost of hiring, what we really meant in one of the things that for those that are supported technology enabled, you probably have to get them from outside of the country, right? And become too expensive that they cause internal inequality when you bring them on board and even a cultural issue. Yeah, good techie, but they can't do anything. So you see them, they can crunch numbers, they can do stuff, but they can't market them, they can't develop business. They can't do the business and pay me a cut of what guys have done. But importantly is that our school here, we are very reactive into what I mean, you can't blame them. But the ease of quickly reacting to what is needed is very slow. So for that purpose, you don't get them out of school and you must spend some money to get them in yourself. So all of us are now trying to create our internal academy, training school, and whatever. Now you want to recruit them people, and most of the time you get like 2,000 CVs, you can be sure.
Right.
Now, one of the things you need to do is to seek them out. So those tools might work because you already have your companies. Like my laptop project I was talking about last time. Oh, we want a 2-1. Numerate costs. You can use the AI tool to seek those out to make sure at least you have 2-1 numerate costs, creating engineering and all sorts. And then you now come into some very important things nowadays. The Gen Z, right? They have some kind of entitlement mentality. When you go to their social media pages, the way some of them talk and chat there, you'll be worried that I'm not going to be able to recruit these guys. Everybody tell you that I don't get up at 10 a.m. in the morning. I don't, I like to work only 4 days a week. I go out a day. I want to be working. So then you don't conduct what the cost and connection analysis. Some of those tools, they told us. Again, we are not talking that there are some, algorithms that they put there that can make it to be able to determine the behavior of this guy and see whether it can be a culture fit. We believe. But at the same time, we don't end it. But we don't end it at that. And that's why we still have to conduct those verbal interview and then interview. You don't stop at AI giving us, hey, this is the best candidate. No, it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
You still have to come because
the human element is still very much.
but when you recruit, you are recruiting for attitude, not for skills.
Okay.
You must say something for that. You can train. So if a skill is missing, you can choose for that. And if you have the wrong attitude, forget it. You are wasting your time training that person. So it is better for us to make sure that we get that. So that is part of that. That's why we said, and I like what Regenesys said. She's the deputy editor. The MD is actually the editor because at the end of the day, bulk of the problem for the head of that. So you must ensure that you are recruiting people that can help you to give out money and the attitude that matters the most.
Okay.
So that you're willing to learn,
Okay. You want to add to that? Please simplify it. And I'll go back to you, sir, because earlier on you mentioned change management. And having listened to that, there's a need for change management process, and it must start at the top somehow. So I want you to comment on it because of you raised it earlier on. But please make your comment there.
I just want to put an icing on the cake that you just paid in terms of you can't rely on it because see this environment, even AI is
Okay, for those who did not hear it, even AI is still learning. Okay.
more than twice. Google Map has led me straight to last. More than twice. That's why it's good to see a self-driving car right now in this market because over there, the infrastructure is there, the data is there. You can rely on it. Do it here at your own peril because the map of a place is not the place, right? We can talk these things that go to here. You know, simple tools, LinkedIn, say you are 80% match for this role. You are this match for this role. You see, even the candidates, they also learn. We can see, yeah, we generate a very perfect CV. Just mark the job, put the responsibility to generate for you. Then you say, wow, great candidate. Only for you to have one verbal conversation with this person, like, sorry, is this your CV? Right? So the basics still needs to be done, right? Because again, like I said, AI in this environment is still learning. With time, it will begin to adjust to the Nigerian environment because it's basically a learning program.
Okay, thank you. Makes sense. So if you may just the change management aspect of it, because I can feel and hear the cynicism somehow, right? When it comes to about whether do you trust and how far do you trust that, we're dealing with big money here, people's lives, but the tools are here, the technology is here, and it's very fast. How do we do this transition in a way that change is managed and it works?
Part of the challenge is that we are dinosaurs. That's part of the challenge. Those of us who are. So I think that there's a valid point. He's raised the valid points. He's also raised the valid point. At the end of the day, the human touch is still relevant, right? However, we find that in terms of artificial intelligence, there's a lot of improvement that's happening as well. And if we become a bit more trusting, we might be able to harness some of the things that is there, right? And it comes with a mindset change as well, which is not easy. Somebody said, I don't know who introduced themselves and said, been in the market for 25 years. When you've been doing something for 25 years, sometimes it's a bit difficult to change it, right? But I think that the generation of leaders we have in the investment banking space, as we begin to see a change in a generational shift, perhaps the younger generation, the people who are Gen Zs now, when they become, she says, hold on, and she gives the phone to my 15-year-old.
Yeah, nice.
And my son took the phone and says, where are you? I said, he said, download Glovo. So what's that? He said you would order, they would come and deliver on a bike or bicycle or something. And he says, and I said, I don't want anything. He said, okay, tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want. And I told him what I wanted. So I went online, found out all the restaurants and fast food, whatever around. Calls me back and said, this is 2 kilometers away from you. That is 1 kilometer away from you. This is what you want. Which one do you want me to? This one will deliver. This one you need to go there yourself. And I was like, no, you found out all this. He said, yeah, it's on my phone and it's on your phone. But hey, it's a generational shift.
Right.
These guys are our work. What we have, what our generation has is a different work attitude, different from them. But what they have different from us is a different tech attitude. So the issues around AI, around blockchain, around all of those things, it's going to be progressive. It's right. Google Map has led me astray, right? However, truth be told, I've been in countries where I didn't know anywhere, and Google Map got me to where I've driven for 4 hours in the US. And I didn't know where I was going, but Google Map just kept on saying, go this way, go that. And I got to where I was, got to the front of the house after driving by myself for 4 hours, right? If you do it in Nigeria, you probably end up in Nigeria report. Perhaps the challenge is also, like she mentioned about it, someone else mentioned, infrastructure, even issues around. Maybe it's at the time when Google Map is about to tell you to turn right. That's when power holding company will hold power. And there'll be a disconnect between where the Google Map server is and the map on your phone. Instead of telling you to turn right, you turn left. And you find yourself in Kafanchan. So there are issues. So we cannot just go out on a limb and say, hey, it's going to be AI, and that's all I'm going to rely on.
Right.
I would say at this point, we're at the point where we have to start mixing and matching. You rely a bit on this, you also rely on the human. But as we progress, It's inevitable.
Okay, then we have to get there. So the 2 points, and then we'll pass on the mic back to you. Because I also want to address, when it comes to you, you raised the issue of brain drain. And I'm now having had all of this inputs, should that be an issue with these technologies right now, especially for this sector? Because, the world is really here, right? So should we actually even be making an issue out of it anymore from this sector? Should we be worried when people leave anymore because of this tool? And I want you to address that. Maybe there's still a reason for it. Maybe you still want nationals to do the job, but it's still. So I want to bring it back to race. But please make your comment.
Okay, I just want to make a comment on a couple of issues that Ademola brought up, and I think another colleague on the panel. And this is the issue of, so we've used AI to screen CVs.
Right.
And then we are now dealing with the issue of attitude, particularly with the Gen Zs. I think it's about time we begin to ask ourselves as employers and HR or chief HR officers of organizations. How do we go around? Because even on this panel, we've come to the conclusion that, or we made a point, and that's the fact that a lot of the skills that we need to drive this AI resides in these young people.
Right.
The Gen Zs and the millennials. But then there's an attitudinal issue, which is not sitting well with those of us who are outside of that range.
Baby boomers.
We need, how do we marry the two?
Right.
Okay. And this is where HR
also have experience there. Right?
Say again? Experience.
Because they may have the attitude and the tech, whatever, but do they have the experience to do what you do?
Again, let's make a shift. They have the knowledge,
right?
And you need this knowledge, and it's from deploying this knowledge to what we need to drive a business that they gain the experience and they build on it. They are easily adaptable. They can move from one technology to another because they are collaborating without you being aware. My kids play games with kids outside of this country on a minute-by-minute basis. But then the issue of attitude. Now, these guys want us to listen to them. There's a particular way they want to be managed.
Yes.
Which aligns with their way of life. And when you're able to harness this ability to manage them well, you can derive value. And I think that's why we need to begin to apply our minds as employers and HR practitioners. How do we manage these people? They are mobile. They see everything as commodity that they can order for online. And that's also the way they want recruitment and employers to be for them, where they can mix and match and therefore put their best in. Just to digress a bit, in one of my previous employments, we were going digital on a particular operating platform, and we're out looking for guys who are developers. And then this young man came into the interview panel, and he started fidgeting. And we're asking, is it the interview Friday? He said, no. He said to me, or to us, I don't think I can fit into the system. Why? Because I came in and I saw my other colleagues who were coming for the interview all in suits. Even this white shirt I bought last night because I'm coming here. And it was in shirt and jeans. And then I came in here, all the panelists are in suits. All your staff is, I can't fit in here. Where I work currently, and then I think I was working with Conga as a developer. Where I work currently, I can come in quarter shorts, and nobody's bothering. And he's been doing this since he was in year 3 at the university. And he's putting in his output is great, even for Conga. So we need to be able to marry this, their nature, and how they want to manage. and for us to be able to derive value from them. Because whether you like it or not, you need the future of this technology resides with it. Yeah. Thank you.
So please pass it on to this side, and you also remind me, because Timmy made the point about culture, that organizational culture. And does that culture still remain the same culture now with technology? If they come through and they say, well, it's a culture, there's this 5 variables of this culture. Right now, it's changing so significantly. How are we adapting ourselves? And is the leadership of business now adapting to this particular? Are we creating new culture ourselves? But yes, let make your comment and let's deal with the issue of brain drain.
Okay. I have a couple of things to say. Let me start from, the change management. The truth is, just like Mr. Body said, we're evolving. We have different generations. You can come to Capital Bank of PLC and you see different generations. You see the millennials, you see the Gen Zs,
Right.
you see the Gen X, and I always say as HR that policies are made for the staff and the staff not for policies. Policy is not cast in stone. As things are evolving and changing, as the business environment they are evolving and changing, you have to go back, review your policies to fit what is currently on ground. And the truth is that if you enter a company and you see, older staff or maybe the Gen X, you should be worried, because a certain time will come that they're going to age out. And when they age out, what happens? So you have to start bringing in new people right from time. Yes, fine, they have their peculiarities. I've discussed with a Gen Z lady that told me when she was being recruited concerning her, when I went for my CIPM conference, I discussed with the and we are talking, and she talked about the HMO. She said why she turned down the offer of the company was that she has I think they call it a Chihuahua, and she said she's not married, she doesn't have children.
Yeah.
So don't deprive her of having access to. Okay, fine, she's not married, but can her HMO cover her pets?
Wow.
Yes. And this is a lady that discussed me, and she's bright, she's sound. And if the company knows that they are going in this direction of growth, and there are certain skill sets, certain kind of people that they need to get there, and if you interview a young lady like that, and it's so promising, you can see she even fits your culture, everything. So will you say because of HMO to cover a Chihuahua that you miss that? So what I'm saying as HR is that policies are not cast in stone. They should be reviewed. And I'm saying this because I have the MDs here.
Right.
Yes.
So as you're on that point, let's ask whether HR as HR therefore ensures a simple policy of hybrid model has now been integrated into policy in the workplace.
Okay, my workplace, we are operating hybrid.
And it's working well.
It's working well. Why is it working well? You have to put metrics in place. You have to hold people accountable. Develop a remote work policy. Hold people accountable. You have unit heads. You have supervisors. Documents are signed. Certain things in place. It's workable. We are doing it, and we are doing it very well. Yes. Because let me tell you, when we interviewed young people, one of the is consistent, I get it. What mode are you operating? They ask. And immediately, if you tell them, you must be here physically, you can see they've shot. I'm on to the next. Yeah. But when you tell them we're operating hybrid, you can see that interest and they're ready to continue the conversation. Okay. So companies, we have to put things in place. And that's why I say HR is the bloodline of,
Okay. All right. Maybe before she comes on, just answer briefly that point about, are you still worried therefore about brain drain? Based on the technology that exists, you're promoting it. You were talking about it very well.
Yes, there's brain drain is a challenge, but with every challenge, there's always a solution. That's the truth. You can look at it from this angle of, okay, when you're interviewing young people, you can interview and look for the people that are trainable, people that, they fit your culture. It's not all the Gen Z, they are not as bad as people, or difficult as people think. Then we have a couple of them. You just have to look for what makes them think their best, and give it to them.
So if you're using a hybrid model, you should be getting an employee of high level engagement employee that you're looking for from Congo, DRC, from South Africa, from the US.
Okay, yes, even though if we are working, even if fine, yes, we are doing the hybrid this thing, we are not yet gone that international in bringing it, because
But
of
there's
course they
opportunity,
still have, yes, there's opportunity. We are growing. We are growing. It will happen.
Okay.
It will happen. We are growing.
Okay.
So,
I just want to say that COVID taught us a lot of things. Up through, I think I joined United Capital here, I think 2021. And my group CEO mentioned to me that we got 58% year 2021 over 2020, 2020 over 2019. That is the year that's COVID year. And everybody working with it. Now, see, what this thing is teaching us, or what it has taught us, is that, see, work is totally being redefined. It's not where you work, it's exactly what you do.
Right.
So you can do it from anywhere. It is if we are ready for that mindset shift. My former role, place in Telco used to be the organizational change manager. And when that industry was changing, at that time, when we were engaging employees, they used to say, this place used to be this, this used to be that. And I'm like, you don't know, this is not the place you joined 10, 15 years ago. Because when the sector came on board, it was based on 2G technology. So all you could do was call and send text. 10 years after, you've already started meeting. As at that time, they already predicted what the future would be. In fact, as HR, our CEO there, he said, our competition is not the next step. He said, we were competing for the customer's wallet. He said, a share of the customer's wallet is actually what we're competing for. We're not competing with this other thing. He said, if the customer had 8,000 naira to spend in a day, we are competing for how much of that, what fraction of that 1,000 naira is coming to us. We are competing with their food. And guess what? When Airtel came later and said data is like, it became reality. It's the same thing in HR. We are competing for a share of the employee's mind. What portion of the employee's mind do we have thinking about the work? That's what we are competing for. Every other thing now becomes secondary. So it is either we learn enough to adopt this technology now, because it's either we are gone. Because the sector is more vulnerable to it. And again, that's another thing I realized with the sector. Talking of this, it's a sector that I can say is not too deep and the breadth is not wide. Look at what is happening in the economy now. Because of the exchange rate stuff, the real sector took a lot of hit. But you don't have yet that they are playing off. Because the assets, they have everything is there. They have infrastructure, they have everything. They are just trying to cope. In the financial service sector, the assets, so it should be, if there's a hit, the first sector will be a downside against the people. So the shock absorber is not there, unlike this other sector. So the rate of change is so high, and we have to be able to predict it and proactively prepare for it. So we have that responsibility as HR to begin to prepare people for this future that is here, as a matter of fact, not going to be here. It's already here. It's just a function of mindset. Right now, people are doing things from home. We are saying, okay, you know what? Can they treat remotely? We are trying to. The policies will become overnight if we are not careful.
Okay. So for me, if you do that, also answer this question, and then, so that I can add on to others on some key issues from HR perspective. The IT governance. Because of this, all of this.
I was coming down.
Okay, so please address that in terms of now.
Thank you very much.
Security and IT governance.
The first thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that, this change management, you guys should be slowing down on our case. Yeah. As the chief human resource advisor. So the chief human resource officer, thank you for what you told us. But I think you guys have to take it slowly. When we were starting, but I think we've actually given a lot to these guys. When I started banking, you come clean. In fact, we have uniform. So white on Monday. In fact, in some banks then they have this Monday white, Tuesday blue. We have asked you guys now. We started changing it. It's only the customer facing guys that are wear ties. I mean, maybe we are not allowed Bermuda shorts. But we've allowed you guys to dress now. Give it to us. When COVID wanted to, in my organization, I was talking about flexible work hour, not remote, flexible. To say, you know what? Everybody comes to work every morning. Everybody wants to resume at 8 o'clock. And so we all eat food at the same time. And that's what this traffic. Why can't we arrange for people to say, you want to work 8 hours a day? You can start home by 9, finish by 6, you can start home by 10, finish by 6. So if you can wait till 8 o'clock, you know, before, then you come to work and get work by 9. Maybe you want to wait till 8:30 or 9, get work by 10. Stretch your own work, you can make that. That was one of the things that make it easier for us to adapt when COVID came. But this COVID thing, talking about, COVID make us happen. No, but it happened again 100. It happened before 100 years before. I wonder how they cope with no technology and they survived.
Yeah.
Now they shut down so many things like that. If in Nigeria they closed down schools, churches, mosques. They said it was brought by some ship coming from Nigeria. They shut down everything. But guess what? I can't remember, but by the time my father was people run around again and doing practice about hugging the dead. I said, we are back to down. COVID is gone just 2 or 3 years ago now, and then we are back to hugging ourselves and trying to stop. So it's a cycle. What we are complaining about today, now, the next couple of years now, we are forgotten about it and start talking about it. Now, sugar is very sweet.
Right.
And a lot of us like to lick it and honey too.
Right.
But it might be dangerous to our health. A lot of this stuff we want us to accept that the HR, the next time.
Right.
It might be harmful to them, that. Working from home 24/7 have issue with mental health. The way we sit together in the office and ask about each other and benefit and party. There's a bank you would like drinking there and all those stuff. It helps without. So when we are guiding them, we need to be able to guide them to say that slow, I think it's good for you. Take some days, that kind of thing, but don't totally shut out yourself. Some people die during COVID because they're working from home. Now, the next thing again, why some of us are in lockdown to allow full change, yes, I'm even going back to support them, is that there is issue with governance problem. There's something with security risk. There's some business that is easy for you to say, work remotely, work anywhere you like. For us to be able to even allow people to go from home, a lot of people have to now move their server into the cloud. They didn't want to do before. And I start having an issue about blocking access. Like when I started where I was working before, it was so bad that people are working overnight. Dangerous to their health. They don't know when to shut down. They're just comfortable with them. Some of them will not take their passport for 3 days. They are working. Until I instituted the IT guy that you must shut down the server by 9 o'clock every day. Whatever happened, shut it down. It was a problem because people will not take a break and it's dangerous to them. Now, if you work globally, you have to leave it on, that kind of thing, because people work in different locations. But we don't have a problem with security. Now, even unknowingly to you, you might be having a meeting. Maybe I'll be having a meeting before you hear, at the back of the window. What it tells you that you can't go and do the house because you want to go from home. The house is close to the bus stop. And when he's talking in the meeting, I'm talking of million. Somebody is hearing from that and say, I don't get this meeting. They come and attack you over the night. So again, I'm saying that what you like can kill you. Again, there's data breach. Right. So many things like that. So we need to check all this and make sure that we make it gradual. Not just face and say, choke them. Yeah. So I take compromise, yes, it's very critical. And we need to find it to solve it. Okay. So you're going gradual, evolutionary, right? Okay, so make your point, but I also want to take it to Amos for one, but Amos mentioned employee engagement. So I want to hear the positive stuff. Because you said this is helping us with employee engagement. I want to know how, and so that you can put a nice spin to this process where we must be slow. But please make your point.
So I think that I'm somewhere in the middle,
right?
But I'm swayed more towards her side than Femi's side, because at the end of the day is inevitable, right? A time is going to come, and to be honest, what people complain about Gen Z, I see it as an advantage. They are inquisitive, they are restless, they are short span. short concentration span. They don't mind staying at home. See, the challenge is that our generation do not realize it, but we were abused. We were abused at the workplace.
Yeah.
This time that Ben was talking about when they made us basically wear uniforms, I worked in banks where you got to be at your desk at a particular time. If you miss it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to sign in, you have to clock in at a particular time. If you miss it for whatever reason, right? Yeah. And you have to wear, okay. The only reason why I'm not wearing a suit today is that I've worn a suit for the better part of my work life. I'm tired. And if you come to my office today, you will not find anybody wearing a suit. Once I went this way, my colleagues started looking at me. They started small. They dressed like him. They took off their tie first. Just to know if I was saying anything. I didn't say anybody. They took off the jackets. I didn't say anybody. They started dressing like me, wearing track. Because my motto is Nike. I borrowed from Nike. Just do it. Just get the work done. I don't care what you wear. I don't care where you are.
Where you do it?
Because I learned a lot during COVID. We're all at home, just always, and I agree. But it's just to find that's the balancing act.
Manage the risk.
During COVID, there were days when I woke up, had an 8 o'clock meeting, sat on the same chair, but I'm not taking a bath. I took that 8 o'clock meeting, had breakfast, lunch, and dinner on that seat in front of my sister. It was unhealthy, right? I agree. So there has to be a balance. So today, we do a hybrid in my office. We come 3 days to the office, 2 days, you work from home, right? And these guys, and I have quite a few Genesis working, and they're productive. And they're still productive. And they're doing what they ought to do. So I think we have to find that fine balance. Because again, I say it's inevitable. A time is going to come when all of us sitting on this panel would have been retired. The so-called Gen Zs that we're looking at today will be the one at the hem of our fence, right? They will run those companies that we own equity in. And they're going to enforce these things. They're going to use AI. They have made themselves who want to be working from Acapulco. So they will let their staff, by then, what are you going to do? Are you going to have hypertension?
No.
It's going to, change is constant.
Right.
The only thing is that we have to prepare for change, plan for change, manage change.
Okay.
Don't let change change you. You be the change. Because when change begins to change you, then you are lost. Right? But all in, see, these things, they are going to happen. I'm learning to. One of the things that the older generation have to learn is we need to learn to listen. That's one place where we miss it with the Gens. We don't listen to them. They are saying one thing, we were saying another thing. You're trying to tell them, hey, listen, somebody's working for you today as an investment banker, and you're paying the person what you consider to be a lot of money. Okay, good. But that person, every evening, he or she is a content developer and on Facebook and on Instagram. One day they wake up and they look at their account, and X or Facebook is paying them in dollars. You are paying now, and they look at it and they say, if I concentrate on this, I will earn more money here than here. They will resign, go home, wake up, they will sleep till 12 noon, wake up and just hold their phone. It's enough steez today. And people are watching it and they are making money and they are paying. The end of the day is the money that is in their pocket, right? Yeah. So if you're not careful with that person, who might be an intelligent and brilliant investment banker, you will lose that person to working for Facebook, doing steez and fab and I don't know all these things.
Thank you very much. Let me speak about employee
engagement. And for those who are online, before you make the point, for those who are online, after this, we'll probably take comments online. I know that we almost closer to the end of the session, and it's been very much fun to listen to. But please, mark your question.
On employee engagement, there are a couple of tools we've been making use of, from Google Space to video conferencing tools, instant messaging tools, and then project management tools. We have been making use of this from time to time for our staff members that are working, both in the office and remotely. And part of what this has done for us is that we've been able to, extract a lot of feedback from our staff, so to say, who work remotely. And we have discovered that it sits well with them. Not only that, we have been able to also develop digital reward and recognition system. Performance appraisal is no longer gone at those days when you sit down and do performance after 6 months or annually.
Right.
Now it's being built in on a daily basis. There are certain things that tracks everything you do, your KPIs. So performance appraisal is even digitally done online and on a continuous basis. You're in continuous engagement with staff members. You know, it happens from time to time. Not only that, you also consider that things like staff benefits, staff remuneration, HR is able to engage and discuss with staff members, even one-on-one, through some of these collaboration tools.
Right.
And so it is part of what we have discovered is that in terms of being able to elicit good experiences from staff members that boosted their morale, it's also helpful in talent management. We have been able to also use it to engage a lot of them about issues around talent management and what they intend to do. At the time, we discovered that, we had a lot of what I would call staff turnover. It was high. It was the same tool we used to engage some of them. We did a staff survey, got some feedback. It was then we knew that we needed to put in place a digital online program that will ensure continuous learning and development of staff members. So those are tools that have gone a long way in engaging staff and leading to staff satisfaction and high retention rates.
So you can able to pick up high enterprise staff very easily with these surveys.
Correct.
Surveys. But you also are able to do teamwork with
Correct.
these tools. So
Correct.
Teamwork is not necessarily
Teamwork.
disappeared. It's still there. It is being enhanced.
Yes, tools are very good for teamwork.
So maybe other questions there. Maybe as a public person on the mic, maybe we will ask Brother to answer this one. Whatever it is yours. And then we'll come back to please raise the question. I'm sure we can get it. Or not unless you want to do it on the mic. Go closer that side and please, Jimmy, and ask the question.
Okay, this is from Facebook. Will AI ever make the need for human venture capital irrelevant? Will AI ever make the need for human venture capitals irrelevant? The second one is from LinkedIn.
Okay.
How does AI identify and mitigate potential risk in an investment portfolio? How does AI identify and mitigate potential risk in an investment portfolio? This is from YouTube. How will AI affect your suppliers, distribution channels, strategic alliance partners, affiliates, marketing and sales platforms, and all other key stakeholders in your go-to-market ecosystem? How will AI affect your suppliers, distribution channels, strategic alliance partners, affiliates, marketing and sales platform, and all other key stakeholders in your go-to-market ecosystem?
The last one was asked by Gen Z, right?
Okay, thank you. I think I'll start from the last one. I think AI is about understanding your partners on an end-to-end basis from the entire customer journey and your ability to use technology to drive that process in a seamless manner.
Right.
That's what AI helps you to do in ensuring that you harness all the opportunities along your entire value chain and you don't miss out on anything. The other one is how AI can help you to identify risks in your investment portfolio. Again, because AI has these predictive capabilities,
right,
it's able to tell what risk are inherent in the investment before you embark on it, and you're able to take an informed decision relying on AI.
So that's predictive analytics, right? You guys are strong on it. I mean, it must be one of the fundamentals in this industry, right?
Venture capital. I'll ask our venture to do.
Maybe it's just hard to feel to the two that they spoke about as well. I mean, in the terms of engagement using AI, one, I don't want us to overflow what AI for everything. It doesn't mean that what with AI is empty. But the real sense of AI, what is it just to generate some kind of information, business intelligence that you can use to engage your stakeholders. For example, for some of us that have bank accounts, some of those banks, when they are sending your statement of account to you, they also try to help you use your information to tell you how much you have spent on mortgages or rent or something like that. So when you look at it, it helps you to look at this as, oh, I think I must have spent so much money on diesel. That's because when you are putting your information on that, you said payment for diesel, or you are saying payment for this. So they're able to put it together for you and guide you to say, oh, wow, this is some information. So that's the same kind of thing that we want to do with stakeholders. Now, one, you're able to use behavior pattern of kind of engagement the stakeholder we're having with you. For example, an investor. I want to send information to them. Like, you know, somebody that has been buying treasury bill every now and then. Anytime you want to go for auction, I remind you to say, do not send an email to this guy to remind him that auction is going to take place and therefore can buy something through. Same thing for CPs for so many things. So you generate that one and use it for that. Now, in our industry, see, we are very few suppliers. That's the truth. Because the people that are really supplying things for us, they are staff. Everything's in the head. You know, the skills that are sell in our sector. So most of them, so it means the diesel that one. I mean, so we can always manage those kind of things. Then our investor, which we need to really ensure that we contact every now and then. So AI can help us with investor relation work. Now, in terms of predicting, I think Boga said something about that as well. It's about you setting parameters that you look at. Most of the time when we do this investment management, we set up standard deviation to make us know what the portfolio kind of risk can be. To say, okay, this is what return that is possible. And this is the kind of standard deviation of this return. Now, we already have a portfolio that determines that this is the risk that we take. And we use standard deviation way to manage to predict. I mean, this is to set the risk parameter. So in an investment, you have return and you have risk you can take. And that's why you see so many organizations they set up what they call stop loss for the portfolio. So once you don't stop profit. Yeah. So that kind of thing. So that AI can help you to put that together and say, okay, this is the vision of this particular investment you want. Is it within the parameter acceptable, or it is too more for it? So again, human capital venture look to the resources.
Okay.
Okay, so if I got the first question right, it was about how will AI. Okay, so if I understand it to mean about venture capital, this is asking that in venture capital, will AI take the place of human beings? So again, investment banking is divided into different parts of investment banking. When it comes to the trading side of investment banking, which is what he was talking about, predictive tests will reduce the number of traders you will need. So when I used to work at one of the big banks, we had a trading floor that was like all of this space. All of this was our trading floor, right? And you had different people trading different things. Some people were trading currency, some people were trading fixed income, some people were trading FX, people were trading commodities, all kinds of trades. With AI, right, you may not need those number of traders because the iteration that is required, the predictive nature of AI, looking at markets and forecasting, can basically do it better than a human being if you supply the right parameters. Looking at all the economic indices, you can say this is where, if you remember, till tomorrow, people listen to Goldman Sachs when they say where the price of oil is going to be. When Goldman Sachs says the price of oil is going to be over $100, people believe it. You know why? They're an investment bank. They're not an oil company. But because they trade that commodity and they have access to the tech, to the tech that can predict where it's going based on all the things that are happening. So there's that trading. But there is the advisory part of the business. If you come to the advisory part of our business, you have, I like to divide it into three. You have origination, execution, and distribution. In terms of origination, there's a human touch to origination that will be difficult. Now, see, I don't want to be one of those who will say this can never happen. I've learned not to say can never happen. There was a bank, the bank has gone under now, that had an advert. He said one day, cars will run on water. And they had somebody who had a nose with water, putting it in a car and putting water upon himself or herself and saying that one day cars will run on water. What he was saying is that one day cars will move without need for fossil fuel. Electric cars are already on our road.
right? So I don't want to say never, but it will be more difficult for AI to take over that human portion of it, where you originate business. You still need to sit down with the person, feel his pulse, understand his challenge, understand the business, understand what it is before you go and structure. When you come to execution, AI can help you because then you understand from the man what the need is. You can fit that need into a computer. The computer can harness all of that information and give you an output and say, this is what you should do. All right? So that one you can. Then there's the distribution part. After you structure it, you have to go and sell the paper. To sell the paper again, you need to sit down in front of people and convince them, whether they are asset managers or they are pension fund managers or they are high net worth individuals, whatever. You have to sit down in front of them and convince them why this deal is a good deal, why this paper is a good paper. Maybe tomorrow we'll put them in a room and the computer will talk to them and they will understand and they will invest. Or computer will talk to computer and computer will invest. I don't know. I don't say never anymore, right? But for today, there is still the human touch to it. Okay? And it's not, it might reduce it, but eliminate it, I can't see it yet. That's how it's
okay. So let me take final closing comment and we'll start with you and then we'll come back and then we'll go back to it that way. Just your closing remarks. I know I'm a bit over time, but your closing comments and remarks on the other topic.
All right. In closing, I think, and I want to say thank you to all the panelists. I think I was okay. I think what I would like to see, I started by saying AI in this environment, in this market, is the growth opportunity, the growth area.
Right.
And I would like to see the same way AI can, at least to a reasonable extent, predict the weather, tell us when it's going to rain, what. And right now, even other sectors are using to predict churn. You can tell when the customer is going to churn in the telco space. If it's possible for you to tell me, you know what, that talent is about to be 2-3 months time. And it's possible.
It is.
It's possible because from my little experience, you can tell from those milestones, for example, you can tell if a particular employee, a particular staff physically on milestone on their birthdays, because people have a good think. They think about their lives. When they have a new line manager, they think. So the potential is high. When somebody will leave, essentially they keep talent. Or there's a change in that person's line manager. Right. If that person on their birthdays, when you wish them, because they will think generally, they think about their career, they think about this. And if you look at those patterns, they can predict.
Wow.
So if
absolutely.
You know, but sincerely, I actually can, right? Yeah. And again, it's a circle. Right now, we're in employees market. And so a lot of the things that we're talking about, just people want to work with their times, is their time. I'm not saying the time will come when it will also, you know, those days, those days when you go for interview, all of you pack here, right? So that's like for that space. I can't wait for when we can deploy this. We have the data. They are just to organize them, structure them, so that this thing can begin to work and learn. And we'll be the biggest beneficiary of it because we just take on some of this transactional work and begin to do cerebral things. Yeah. And begin to do practice.
Excellent.
Thank you again for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so before my closing remark for Dr. Femi, you know, little steps. Yeah, baby steps. You know, one step at a time. Okay, what I just want to say is that people shouldn't feel threatened by AI or going digital, because you see in organization, when digital initiatives want to be implemented, you always see that resistance because people feel these people are coming to take my job. And that's why it's always advised that to keep upskilling, you know, getting training, necessary training, soft skills, leadership, and the rest. We get ready. Because AI, digital, summary of digital, is here to make us work more strategic. And he has said it. It's here to make us work strategic because we focus on more strategic things, not just being hardworking or smart work. we have gone beyond being smart working. It's now being more intentional in our deliverables, be more straight and digital, HR digital, they're here to achieve that for us. So let us see them as a business partner, people that we working with technology to achieve more strategic goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let me make a closing remarks. I hope your son will tell you that I want to put my money in a company that I would know that you're transparent about where you're placing my money, and whether those companies are also green and sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree, and I agree with her. We have to see tech as a partner in progress. It's the way of the world. It's going to happen. When people used to work with typewriters, there was a time when people who used typewriters were the ish. They needed to have them. There was a time we had typing pools. When I went to university, there used to be a typing pool. So when you write, take it to the typing pool.
You pay.
Computers came. Some of them resisted computers. They didn't want to go to computer school and learn how to use a computer. They lost it. Computers, some people learned how to use desktop, whatever. Today, you can do almost everything. Remember that big desktop? It doesn't have enough memory as my phone today. So change is constant. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's for us to learn how to partner with it in terms of HR. And I learned something deep from what he said about how AI can help us even harnessing people's their emotions, there are times when they're celebratory or when milestones happen, their footprints and all of that. Put all of that together and tell you are likely. I've looked at your whole staff strength. In the next 3 months, 10%, 15% are more likely to leave. Even if it doesn't point you to who and who, but it gives you an ability to know that I need to get in 10% more in my workforce because I'm likely to lose this so that I'm ready for when that happens. I would love that. That would be music to my ears, that I don't have to bother my head about whatever, because you can replace. Because, like we say it in Nigeria, soldier goes, soldier come, barracks remain. The job, the office is the barracks. If you resign, other people will come and take it. It's the way of the world. But anyway, that AI can help us. So I see it as partner in progress, not something to be fought, not something. And for the people who are listening to us, who are not sure about how AI can affect you going forward in terms of skill sets, in terms of what you want to do, remember, it is human beings that make AI function.
Right.
If AI is the way of the future, be the human being that makes AI function.
Okay.
It will be eternally relevant.
Okay. Thank you very much. Right.
Okay. Again, I want to take a little bit of clarity. The wheel of change is control. And this change is going to be spherical, just like paper. So what I mean is that when the change goes, it comes right again. I started by saying that how we started as human beings to teach the ground and everything. So I was to go back to teach the ground. Already we are on the line. So go back to start. So what that tells me is that, if we check what has happened, even with this advent of technology, AI moving up, it has killed some industry. And what I mean is that some other industries too have to change or even go on the computer. Some courses we did then in school, they're not relevant anymore, except you have to do something. So even these investment industry would have to take some changes. Maybe you get to a stage where manage them directly themselves, when you get access to them, he said when he said, "Don't that can manage them transparent." Transparent is okay, you can see it. So the mind is from mind. You are saying it yourself, not that you're doing it yourself, but I'm doing it. You're saying it, or maybe you're doing it yourself. That's part of it, but that skill needs to be taught, how to be acquired. Like Sam said, let us be to change. The person that will make the AI to work, because whatever AI is going to do, somebody has to set right to do that. Now, again, when I talk about the change and disciples, because at some point, the banks in the West
They said they want to remove bricks and mortar. And that everything's going to be, internet-based, drive-through, all those kind of things. After some few years, they went back again. Now opening the banks again because people are complaining about it. Hey, the bank is only the social gathering we have. Some of us go there to drop £10 just because we're able to speak to somebody. Because that. So if you want us to do that at home, go back again and go back again. So what I mean is that change. And we must continue to change with it. There's one comic. I saw when the man was saying that my grandfather worked. My father used a Mercedes-Benz E-Class. I'm using a G-Wagon. My boy is using the Lamborghini. I'm sure my great-grandchild will probably work for the same thing at that time to go around again. So it is a cycle. And we have to be ready for it. Yes, I've said that let us change gradually because it's going to be as it is now, it's a balancing thing for us. We have, like you said, we have been somehow abused to our own, and I don't like this word. That's how it was for us then. And our bosses then, that's how they were trained. We too have that, but because we are now unfortunate to be having to be changing the battle to people that totally have a different view of accents. You have to be changing that to, So allow us, when we exit completely, you can take it to another level. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We must not use the elderly. Guys, you're listening, right?
So on a closing note, part of what I would like to see is a greater AI predictive ability, greater AI-driven insights, and what I call a greater predictive capability. Now, Google did something of recent, which I want us to learn from. Google is a global brand.
Right.
At the time, they discovered that they were struggling with having a lot of adequate digital staff members. They've had some staff members who have been with them, some were wonderful, and after a while, they will leave. Some other time, they have some staff members with attitude, after a while, they will leave. You know what Google did? Google decided to carry out a survey. They made use of AI to say, hey, let's begin to study some things about some of our past staff members. Some of the past members we have, who are some of them that are very spectacular? Who are some of them that are very special, that are very effective and very successful? What are the traits common to all these staff members? You know what they did? They went back to recruitment data. They extracted some information. They went back to some of the performance appraisals they've done. They extracted some information. They went back to some of these employee survey they conducted. They came out with certain things. Having extracted some information, they defined parameters and put them into the employee HR digital algorithm. And it brought out certain results. So in their subsequent future recruitment, they put those things there. And honestly, they have been getting staff members that have the qualities of those things spoken by AI. And so, to a large extent, it has helped them to get qualified and competent digital staff. And the staff turnover had reduced gradually. Wow. So that's part of what I'm looking at, coming to Nigeria, coming to the industry. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My closing comment will be one, technology and digitalization is what to stay. Right. And we have to embrace it. And it puts a lot of responsibility on HR being the hub for everything human resource and managing the emotions and how we feel and the entire employee experience on an end-to-end basis. Therefore, HR practitioners need to, again, upskill themselves. And in doing that, begin the process of change management. And more importantly, carry us along, those of us who have been managed.
Yes, okay.
So that we know what is in it for us and what lies ahead for us.
So manage
in
up.
Doing that,
yeah,
then we'll become better engaged and not see AI as coming to take over our jobs. And we'll become demotivated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's reverse mentoring now by young people. That's what we're talking about. We need. Wow. I know that I've gone way beyond my time, and I appreciate the fact that you're able to stay and still give us the nuggets of knowledge. It's been wonderful. It's been amazing. I think the knowledge sharing has been on another level. I'm starting to think people who make money have personalities. So I might want to go into this sector for the reasons that I've shared this experience this evening. But from my side, I truly want to appreciate Regenesys as an institution that's been here for 10 years. And we do this after every 3-4 years to really do a deep test about where we are with what we're training and are we still relevant or so. I think today you've given us a lot to think about. And I'm hoping that our team and our officers can be able to reflect on what they've had today and be relevant, because as you rightfully say, if you're not relevant, we're out, including training institutions. So I truly appreciate the opportunity we have today with all of you. Vivian is our country manager, and she will do the closing and also do the presentation. But let me take this opportunity to say thank you. I won't take it for granted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish this session could have, gone on and on and on. It was quite interesting and engaging. I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to all our guests present here and to our online guests. Thank you for joining us. It's quite a pleasure. And to our esteemed, amazing, and exceptional speakers, you've made our event a success. I mean, it was engaging, it was informative, it was, I don't know, I could go on and on. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We appreciate you. And on behalf of Regenesys Business School, we'd like to share something. As a token, please, we'd like you to please accept this. To Mrs. Moma. Mrs. Aging. Apologies. To Mrs. Aging, please accept this. To Mr. Komolafe, thank you so much for coming. To Mr. Chidoka, thank you so much for coming. To Dr. Ademola, thank you so much for coming. To Mr. Alidari, thank you so much for coming. To Mr. Jenny, thank you so very much for coming. We appreciate it. I'd like to take a quick. I'd like to take